So guys, Whimpering Waves is under a lot of fire right now because some certain changes, safe to say, are not well received among the player base. But fear not, as a good CC that I am, I will share to you tips and tricks and share my experience on Whimpering Waves, and probably you can apply it on your playthrough later. So stay tuned and find out. Subscribe! By the way, disclaimer here, the tips that I'm going to share you may not going to help you to get SSS score because there are many things can be factored in that can affect your run, such as your eco investment, your characters and weapon that they used, and etc etc. So yeah, but I hope the tips and trick that I'm going to share you is going to help you to get the S score, so you get all the rewards, especially the asterites rewards in the current cycle. So yeah, let's get back to the video. So what is Whimpering Waves? Whimpering Waves is a new endgame mode from Wuthering Waves that the system is simple. Kill as much enemies in a span of 2 minutes. But why is it under fire lately? Because they removed the universal buff tokens that everybody used in the previous cycle. So what was the issue? Okay, so this buff called the cosplay that receives harmonized praise. They have this buff in previous cycle, and it's having effect of after casting intro skill increase crit rate while all resonator in the team by 40% and critical damage by 80% for 15 seconds. With the nature of Wuthering Waves movement and combo and team, this buff is kinda up all the time, so it is safe to say that your team all the time have 40% crit rate and 80% crit damage, which is a massive damage. It's around 160% critical value in the total, and it is absolutely crazy. But now what happened is, in this run, they removed the token completely.
Bruh.
Sorry, I'm going to change this. Okay. So, this token called Ambition That Lies Hidden is token that's supposedly for Phoebe, right? Increase spectral damage by 12.5% for each stack of spectral puzzle inflicted on target, stacking up to 10 times. This effect lasts for 15 seconds. But the problem is, Phoebe is not meant to be the spectral puzzle caster as for now, because there is nobody in the team that actually casts the spectral puzzle more consistently other than Spectral Rover, which is hard to use, and his or her AoE of Spectral Rover is not that good. Okay, so this buff alone from previous cycle is kinda useless. But the problem is, they usually had in the previous cycle this buff is called the cosplay. I told you earlier, the buff is 40% critical rate and 80% critical damage. But now in this cycle, they removed those buff and turned this into this. Now this token is not as bad as people say it to be. But the drawback is, this token is pretty useful for the ship like 11 or ship 10. Of course, 120% liberation damage bonus for character that use liberation as their main source of damage will benefit a lot from here. However, that's because the enemies here are level 90. Okay. The problem comes when you are fighting in the infinite torrents where the enemies are level 100. They have another layer of resistance and they have more HP, okay? That's why the buff of this is significantly reduced in value when you use it in the infinite torrent. Okay, so that's the issue here with these buffs, these tokens. And then the second is this, the rivalry that unveils mystery. And the buff is, while resonators are in mid-air, their damage dealt amplified by 30%. For 15 seconds when it's not in air.
Huh?
What does this even supposed to mean? So while it's not in mid-air, their damage dealt amplified by 30% for 15 seconds when it's not in mid-air. This means only someone like Ling Yang, Brand, and Carlota is the one that can use this skill in the maximum way. But the problem is, this buff is not that good. Compared to this, amplifies all attribute damage by 25%. This is just 5% less damage, but with no restriction of being in the mid-air. So it is safe to say that the golden tokens are all trash. Not good for anybody. So, with that being said, can you finish the Whimpering Waves this cycle with other buffs? The answer is you can, okay? So, if you look at my run here, it with Brand, Changli, and Baize, and the other with Yao, Sferina, and Yinlin, I can manage to get 280 per both half. So that means I get around 5,160 points. So, how do I do this? I will run the video of mine that I uploaded earlier or yesterday, and I put the link in the top. Who's top? Okay, that top. So if you want to watch it, you can click the link. But you should watch the video and go to here to understand what do I do and the thought process of my choosing either buff and my rotation. Okay, so first and foremost, I use this buff is called the Plunderer's Captain Seal. Why this buff is very powerful? The buff is recover 3% of resonator HP per second and deal 600 electro damage nearby targets upon 6 HP recovery. Okay, this means every 6 seconds you will be able to cast this 600% electro damage to the enemy, which is absolutely massive in my personal opinion. It's almost the same like the burst for Calcharo's Liberation. So that is why I use both of these. Why do I choose Changli and Brand here? Because look at this. There is no enemy that align with fusion here. Okay, so it is safe for them to casting every attack and with not getting any kind of damage reduction. And then in this half, I use Xiangliao because the only enemies that have electro resistance is the Vault Scourge Stalker, and as a small mob, their HP is not that much, and they usually die pretty fast, especially with the buff that I have in this Plunderer. So, you think why I use Baize? Brand heals, and this heals. Why I choose Baize? Why I choose Ferina? So, the key point in this team section is the buff is giving 3% extra HP and going to explode the electro damage every 6 HP recovery. Why I use healers, especially this Brand is can heal and Baize can heal, Ferina can heal, because every 6 heal you can cast the 600% electro damage, and that is massive. So what do the heal do in this team is that it expedite the amount of frequency of the buff from Plunderer Captain Seal token. Alright, so it is very recommended to bring your healer in this team, despite that you probably think you do not need the healer, okay, because it is healing itself and your Brand is healing. But if you use another healer, the frequency of the buffs is going to be expedited and buffs is going to be active a lot frequent. Okay, so let's go to the video now. Oh, by the way, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, okay? It will help you for your Wuthering Waves journey in the future. Alright, but let's cut the chase to the infinite ship, which is ship 12. And let me explain to you why I do what I do. It's my team. Okay, with Brand and Changli is they are both very synergetical to others, and both are not kinda based or useless without their liberation. Like Xiangliao is a character that is very good, but in quick swap team his weakness is that without his liberation he's kinda not as good as he is in liberation mode, right? Not bad, but not as good. However, with Brand and Changli is every single second in the field, they both can be swap, and the result is still pretty good. So yeah, I use Changli and Brand to fill up their concerto and their energy. Alright, so see, here I'm using Return to Ashes. Return from Ashes pretty much the most damage outcome from Brand. But here's the funny mechanic. Look at this. Boom! Boom! Look at the score. Look at the score. 5760, right? Boom! It went to 310. That means by one Return from Ashes, I score around 250 score point. That is absolutely massive. And what happened is, Brand Return from Ashes, Qian's Liberation, and also Havoc Rover's Liberation have some sort of quirk. And the quirk is that the damage can be transferred to the next wave. This also works in Tower of Adversity as well. So this is a fun fact. Look at this. Boom! The mob is already dead, but it kills the next mob. Look at it. Okay. See, the number is appearing again. And then I go to the third mob, which is why the waves is turning from 1 to 2. Okay. And the mob is going to be the, the glacial stuff. So if you are using Carlotta, do not use Carlotta in the first half, because there are many enemies that have glacial resistance and your token is not supporting it. Alright. What I meant by that is, if you are having trouble with damage reduction due to the same attribute of enemies, such as Carlotta with glacial enemies, Changli with fusion enemies, something like that, it can be fixed through the critical damage. That is why you can see a lot of TOA clear where they are using the DPS such as Calcharo or Qian with their best in class support, and then they are seen using the Shorekeeper, because Shorekeeper has 25% critical damage buff. That is why they can finish it. And that is why you won't see them clearing TOA with their attribute resistance such as Qian with aero resistance or Calcharo with electro resistance. You won't see them using Farina as their sustain. They are always using Shorekeeper. There are certain ways to counter the same attribute elements by using critical damage. And this token critical damage is very useful in the previous cycle because it can deny the existence of attribute resistance. Something like that. So, what I found funny is that Changli is better for against these mobs, against the elite mobs, but Brand is better for the small mob and with more numbers, right? Look at this. Look at this, okay? I will do Return from Ashes here, but the damage is not that transferable just like the first wave. Alright. Oh, hold on. I did this. Okay. No, look at this. This one die. Boom. And then the another set of Nimbus Raid appear again, and they already dying. Right? And that is crazy. That is why you use Return from Ashes in the smaller mobs, but you use Changli, her skill and her ultimate against the elite mobs. Like this. So that's how I do it. Changli has very good AoE, by the way, so which is a first point for her, plus point for her. Okay, look at this smaller enemy. I will use the Return from Ashes again, but this time I used it wrongly. It did not go to the very middle, and it only killed few that is resided here. That is my mistake, but still I can finish it above 2,800 points. Okay, I use Baiji just to expedite the effect of the Plunderer token. The more heal, the more electric bomb that is going to be detonated. So that is why I use Baiji in this team. Look at this. I'm going to use return for my session, I'm pretty sure. But the damage is not transferable the way that the one against smaller mobs. Use some fallacy buffs. Could have done better there. Look at this. This is going to be gold mine. Boom! Ooh! Look at the score. Boom! Alright, goes 2,540 to 2,650, which is awesome. I cannot kill this, but still the freeze screen is absolutely cinema though. Look at this. Oh, this is Bran and this is Changli. Okay, I did not mean that, by the way. They're just that good together. Okay, now this is Yao. Alright. Yao is more tricky than Changli and Bran, because you cannot use his skill like the way that I use the Bran and Changli skill. Since he is less AoE, actually he has strong AoE, but only to his front. First thing I do is doing resonance skill, and then I change to Verina and feel her forte. Then I got 2 forte, liberation, feel the concerto, and change to Yinlin. Okay, look at the amount of heal and amount of electricity that is produced by healing by Verina. Alright, if you ever wonder what I do with Shang Liao, how do I rotate with his team, I do something called triple echo mechanic. That is something that I found myself, and the idea is doing triple echo, your sub DPS, your DPS, and your sustain. And the idea is so that buff of fallacy of no return is not expired before the time of your sub DPS or your DPS is done. Okay, so look at this. By the middle of my sub DPS rotation, like this, I do the double resonance skill for Yinlin. Okay, then I do the Heron skill, turn echo, right? And then I immediately, before the Heron take off, I change to Shang Liao, and I do his Nightmare Thundering Mapis skill, and then I change to Verina and do the Fallacy of No Return. Then I change back to Yinlin again in a flash. So the idea is now buff of the Fallacy of No Return won't be expired, and the moment that I want to change the character from Yinlin to Shang Liao, I will be guaranteed both the buff of her outro and also buff of the Heron. Alright. This mechanic also works with Ling Yang and Cheche. And also Jian, you can do it with Mortefi or Alto. Look at this buff. It's now number 3. The more heal, it's going to be 4, and if it's 6, and then boom. So if your healer is healing pretty frequently, effect of the plunderer is going to be increasing very fast. Okay, it's going to be appearing frequently, right? And I'm gonna use, see here, I do not use the liberation here, because, and look at this, me, okay, I run here. Why? So that the next liberation is going to be hit all of this. Okay, so if you are using character like Shang Liao, you have to position your liberation smartly. If not, you are going to waste a lot of damage to other things. Look at this. For example, imagine if I burst here, right here, and right now, I could burst to this direction. I could burst to this direction. But then, if I burst this direction, I will miss this and this. If I go to that direction, I will miss bunch of this. So, I cannot afford to do that. I have to pick the great spot to do my liberation. Right? Then, boom! All the wolves in the screen is hit by the liberation, which is great. Same to the resonance skill. You need to aim it to the right direction, or else it will be missing a lot of damage. My Verina, heal. Okay, Yinlin. Now this is the Chop Chop. Chop Chop is the one that the most annoying in this floor, in my opinion. Because the moment they appear, it has tendencies to go to float around. It is very annoying, alright? So what I do is, boom, keep them all in the same direction and boom, you hit them all with one liberation. Alright, so while the time is freezing, you can use it to kinda reposition yourself. Alright, don't forget, Xiangliu's AoE is only to his front. So make sure that all enemies that you want to hit is in front of him. Okay. Right. Yinlin. Then look at me. I do not use the liberation just like that. I wait to enemies to appear and then do my liberation. Because in this stage, there are possibilities that you waste your liberation for nothing. Okay, so be careful. Do not just press a liberation when there's no enemy on the screen. Simple, but many people do that. See, look at the Chop Chop. Okay, Chop Chop. Moment appear, these two going away. Boom. Which is sad. But very fortunate that they are not that far. That they can be far. Look at this. Look at the Chop Chop right here. Look at the Chop Chop right here. They are very far here. This is a Chop Chop that near me, that this is very far in the behind. Look at that. That is very far. But fortunately, the buff of the Plunderer token zapping it all and kill this mother father to the afterlife. At this moment, I know there are one of the Chop Chop that is behind my screen. I cannot see that. So instead I'm using the resonance skill that probably can fly me away to nowhere. I use my liberation just in case. Okay, but fortunately the Chop Chop is right in front of me. But I cannot see that because the screen is not aligning to the Chop Chop itself. As usual, look at how many electro from Plunderer token activate in this moment. Boom, 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 boom. And boom. Okay, it's cinema as well. Okay, cinema. Why it looks so cool though? So that's the result of my run, both with Bran and Changli, and also with Xiangliu and Yinlin. So yeah, I brought healer for the sake of expediting the frequencies of the Plunderer token. Okay. So yeah. Alright, there are some instances where I have to use Return from Ashes and position it pretty wisely. Look at this. See, if I'm not smart enough, I will use return from ashes now, and I'm going to be directing from here. But instead, I run from that and do return from ashes to this direction and hit both and also the big one. Okay, since the return from ashes also have some sort of delay effect. Look at this. Boom, 182k, right? Boom, there's a 50k to make mitigated to the big lizard. Example of damage transfer can be also applied here. Look at this. Boom. I only hit 2 Wuthering dancer, right? But in reality, I kill 3 cuddle waddle in the process. So cuddle waddle has some sort of annoying mechanic where it just sits and it cannot be hit. It's absolutely invincible to damage, which is very annoying, and it can take around 3 seconds or 5 seconds. And for someone like Jian, who is very limited in terms of his damage in the liberation duration, that is very annoying. That is why I purposely do not just do the liberation now, but I try to attack this Wuthering dancer to the lower HP. So by the time he casts the liberation, they die, and the damage transfer is going through the 3 cuddle waddle, and they die, and we go to the next waves. Interesting, right? So yeah, that's all the tips that I can share through my run. As for the tips itself, first pick the characters that have a lot of AoE capabilities, such as Jian, Zhangli, Shangliao, Yinlin, Brand, and probably Camellia. No, probably Camellia is one of the best. Camellia, Shorekeeper, and someone like that. That second, pick your right buff. Pick the right token. As for now, the Plunderer token is the best token for everybody. Okay, the gold tokens are useless. Third, use and pick the character that expedite the abilities of the token itself. For me, I pick Baije and I use Verina to expedite the effect of healing, and that means accelerated the frequencies of electric bomb that is appear on your screen, which is helping a lot in killing the enemies. Fourth, maximize the damage transfer mechanic. Alright. Fifth, place your liberation, or not just liberation, your burst or your source of main damage wisely, because one misplace of the liberation or the main source damage can actually ruin the whole run. Alright. So yeah, Wuthering Waves itself said that they will fix wuwa and make it more viable and easier for us. As for my suggestion, that I hope they create a buff that is more universal, and holy shit, the current buffs, the golden tokens are absolutely useless. Okay, useless even for Brand and even for Phoebe, for the characters that supposedly supported by that token are absolutely useless for them as well. So yeah, they also should fix the AI for Chop Chop, because what the hell is that? The moment they appear, they just also there are these rock enemies that looks like stone enemies, human stone enemies, whatever you call it. You know, when Shang Liao do his enhanced resonance skill, right? It's supposedly stop time or at least make it delay, right? But the dude is like what is that supposed to mean? That is definitely a bug, right? Any enemies do not do that, right? So yeah, I hope all my tips and tricks actually help you, because you probably need those asterites to get your brand, your Changli, or their weapon. Who knows? I hope my tips help. So yeah, what do you guys think about the video? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, click the bell, ting ting, so you won't miss my next video when it's uploaded, or live stream when it's live. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next video. Goodbye and see you soon. Peace.